come to the next topic, which is intensive subsistence farming. It's completely opposite to primitive subsistence farming, just not which we have learned. Intensive subsistence farming, that is our next topic, and the types of farming. What's happening in this kinds of farming? Subsistence intensive farming in India. What is the process of this farming? It's practiced in areas with a high population density. Yes, the population density is very high, and it's a labor intensive form of agriculture where we can see a lot of labors of working, which we have not seen in primitive subsistence farming. And after reading this part, we will also make the comparison between primitive subsistence agriculture and intensive subsistence agriculture. Farmers increase production through the use of heavy biochemical inputs like HYV seeds, you can see, and intensive irrigation. So different parts we can observe from the primitive subsistence farming. Now if we can make the comparison between two, we can get a lot of points. In primitive, if I am writing over here, in primitive what we have got? Low population density. The first point we have low population density in primitive, which we have not got in the intensive subsistence agriculture. What we have got from intensive subsistence? There is a high population density. Yes, the population density is very high. Come to the next part. In primitive, we can have, okay, if I am giving 1 mark here, then it's 2 points. Then primitive subsistence, it was not labor intensive work, like a lot of laborers were not doing work for the primitive subsistence agriculture, but here we can have a labor intensive work form of agriculture. So lack of labor can be a point. Lack of labor can be a point. After that, the next line is written for farmers increase production through the use of heavy biochemical inputs. That means lack of HYV seeds, we can see lack of HYV seeds from the primitive agriculture, and here we can see a lot of heavy biochemical inputs the farmers are using. And in the last point, we can't see the irrigation facilities over there because they are not doing the production process for the loss of a lot of people outside. They are just making the production only for their self-consumption. But here we can see if they have the extra food crops, extra production, they are also selling it at the market. So they need this intensive irrigation. So basically what we have learned for intensive subsistence farming, the farmer basically cultivates a small plot of lands using simple tools and more laborers, and farmers use their small land holdings to produce enough for their local consumption, but while remaining the produce is used for exchange against other goods. That means the barter system which we have also learned in history.